while ago, before the break, Fred was taking us through the process on how to remove the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and her two deputies. As you're aware, the presidency has received a number of petitions seeking the removal of the EC chairperson, Madam James, and the two deputies, Dr. Bosman Asare and Samuel Tete. And Fred was taking us through the constitutional provisions as far as the removal of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and her two deputies are concerned. Also, we're told that a number of people have asked questions as to whether, you know, when the committee is set up by the Chief Justice, they'll be given the opportunity to also come and present counter evidence as to why they'll be removed in this operation. Fred will help us with it. So, Fred, will it be a similar one like the Chief Justice one, where they'll be given an opportunity to face the committee and present counter evidence as to the evidence these petitioners will present to the committee?
Oh yes, it will be a similar situation. So what is going to happen is that once the Chief Justice finds a prima facie case, these petitions will be forwarded to the people who have been mentioned. And once they are mentioned, they are given opportunity to respond to the petition, and the committee will set up the procedure to run this particular hearing. So yes, they'll be given an opportunity to respond to the petitions. But when you look at what happened in 2017, you recall that there were 5 people who were appointed by the Chief Justice at the time, Sophia Kufu.
Yeah, she was then the Chief Justice,
with that issue. There were Justice Alfred Benin. He was then a Supreme Court judge. He's retired now. Then you have the late Justice Samuel K. Mafusao. At the time was a Court of Appeal judge. Agnes Doji, Justice Agnes Doji. Both of them at the time were Court of Appeal judges, but later promoted to be Supreme Court judges. After that particular event. Later, after that particular event, they were both promoted to be Supreme Court justices. At that time, they were justices of the Court of Appeal, Justice Mafusao and Justice Agnes Doji. They were then Court of Appeal judges. Then there were 2 people who were not lawyers, who were not part of the Council of State, who were not MPs. They were Wilbeck Abrapia, a former banker. And we had the former Executive Secretary of the Ghana Employers Association, Rosemond Kakarianan. So these 5 people were the committee, made up the committee to determine the fate of Charlotte Essay, Amadou Sule, and Georgina.
So it's similar, it's just going to be the same process as we have now. All right. Fred, thank you very much. Just so watching the situation, we're coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Away from the Electoral Commission, not truly away. We talk about the NPP, but it's the Electoral Commission that will conduct the elections for the New Patriotic Party on the 31st, Saturday, 31st of January 2026, less than 60 days away. And our very own Mussa Dankwa has been doing his tracking, the polling tracking as far as the NPP presidential election. Mussa says Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is still leading the pack to lead the NPP into the election of 2028. He's with us in the studio to give us details about this latest polling, which was done November, just last month, and specifically the 24th of November, 2025. Mussa, thank you again. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Sammy.
Hope you're well.
We're doing well, thank you.
I'm well, I'm doing well. Fred and I, we talk for inside.
The 2 parties.
We are preparing ourselves for January 31st, which is going to be a more or less do or die in quote for these 5 aspirants who are lacing their boots to lead the NPP going to the election of 2026. You've done some work. Tell us about this.
No, basically we are continuing from where we started. August, September, October, November. We're going to do December poll as well, and then January poll before the election itself. This is the November edition of the NPP primaries. We engaged about 3,500 delegates. Let's look at the methodology and approach. Yes, 3,500 NPP delegates across 267 constituencies, randomly called, out of the 276. So only 9 short of everywhere, randomly. Our confidence level for this poll is 99%. The margin of error is plus or minus 2.1%, and we use telephone polls to engage the delegates. And the interviews were between 17th and 21st November. Okay. That's when we did the calls for the period. Now, we went asking many questions. But what we also did was to try and go into the minds of Delegate to see where the race could go. But first, look at the demography of the delegates. 80% male, 20% female. Male dominate all the delegates above, both NDC and NPP.
NPP, okay.
Yes.
Now, is it that the women don't like to be delegates? Or the party refuses to elect women delegates?
You know, women participation in politics has been very low.
Yeah.
And that is reflected what you see in the delegates. Now, look at the age profile. 16% around 25 to 34. Just under 1% or 1% are 18 to 24. Very small in delegate. 35 to 44, almost 46%. Nearly half delegates we sampled were around this age. Then 45 to 54, around 27%. So mostly they are here between 25 and 54 years of age, MPP delegate. Their educational background, senior high 36%, junior high 36%, tertiary 19%. No formal education is about 9%. Now, religion, largely Christian, 83%, Muslims 14%, others are very insignificant. Again, ethnic background, 61% of the delegates are Akans. Nationally, that number is 47. And then Moli Dagba is second largest bloc in MPP, 14%, Evers 8%, others 6%, Ghana Dangbi 5% in MPP delegate. Now, we asked them whether they are optimistic after these punches have been thrown. The party will unite in time for the next election. 89% believe that they will unite. So I think the fear of disunity is probably around the top hierarchy, not in the base. It wouldn't be difficult for them to rally the base. The top could be the problem.
And is the main reason why the party wants to do the presidential primaries first? Because of issues of unity?
Unity.
Yeah.
Well, there is belief that they can unite.
Okay.
Another question we asked them was really to go behind the scene to see what they will do in the future in terms of the elections and who could win. We asked them whether they agree or disagree that bringing another candidate second time in a race will help the party's chances. 59% of those people said yes. They agree that if you bring somebody for the second time, it could help the party win the election.
Okay.
14% said disagree, no. And then 27% were neutral, whether they agree or disagree. Now, this is an indication of what could happen down the line. It is not the final answer, but it gives you a hint of what could happen. Now, simply means that even if there should be a runoff, these people will prevail.
Did they give you any reason why they believe?
No,
giving
always
another chance.
Say, marketing. They always say, oh, it's been marketed. The person will be marketed. Here, we didn't mention anybody's name.
Yeah.
We say a candidate. So even not for this election, but even future election. If you bring him second time again, do you think it helps the party to win? They said yes, they agree. But not everybody who agree is voting for the candidate who is being voted for the second time. That's how it gets tricky. Now look at the regional breakdown. Every region agrees that second chance will help the party win, except voter region.
Okay.
We'll come back and compare this with the regional results of the primaries, and you'll see similarity. So in Ashanti, just about 55%, in Bono, 62%, in Bono region, 86%, Bono East, 80%, Central, 52%, Eastern, 63%, Greater Accra, 49%, Northeast, 86%, Northern region, 57%, OT, 73%, Savannah, 48%, Upper East, 83%, Upper West, 72%, Voter region 35, but 48 say they disagree. Yes. And then Western North 66. Oh, sorry, Western and Western North. It is 66 and 81. So you can see that across all the region, they kind of agreed.
Yeah.
Now, we went around a bit to ask them about the budget, whether they believe that the party is responding well to the budget statement that has been read. Are you satisfied with the way the party is responding? Satisfied is 40%. Dissatisfied, 13%. Neutral. So if you add a neutral and satisfied, only 40% are satisfied with the way the party is responding to the statement. Something there for the party to ponder about. Yeah. We looked at how they voted in the last election. We asked them, who did you vote for in the last election? We didn't ask them who you vote for from the beginning, no. We went around so that we can go through their heads and understand what they did. 60% of them said Bawumia. Kennedy, 18%. 1% Akoto Afriye. 1% Adainimo. Not disclosed, 19%. If you remember, Bawumia nearly got 61%. Ken got what? 37%. Yes. If you add 18 to this 19, those undisclosed at the time, even now, these guys are Kennedy supporters. So we were trying to prove that, what they told us was correct. Now, we also asked them about the candidates and how they perceive them. How favorable do you see this candidate, Bawumia? Favorable or unfavorable? They give you their views. Over the period, those who see him as favorable, net effect is 91% in the previous month. Now it's gone to 92%, plus one.
Plus one, yeah.
It tells you something here. When your favorability is increasing, it means you are going to translate that into vote.
Okay.
If it's reducing, you'll be losing vote. Brian Achampon, 83%, and now 81%, down 2%. Dr. Yao Osei Edichum, who was 77%, still 77%, nothing has changed. Kennedy Japan was 88%, now 83%, down 5%. Kobna Japan was 76%, now 74%, down 2%. So this gives you a bit of warning down the line. Let's see what happens. Among male, Bawumia outperformed Kennedy by 9 points. And among female, just 8 points. So he's more popular among men than women. We asked them about importance of religion in the decisions they have taken. How important was it? 4% said it's important. Neutral, 5%. Not important, 91%. We've seen a sharp decline in those who say religion is important. In the last period, it was around 13%. It is now down to 4%. The same, ethnicity, 4%. It moves in the same direction as ethnicity. And then we asked them, if the elections were held today, who would you vote for? Bawumia, 43%. Kennedy, 18%. Brian, 5%. Edichum, near zero. Kobna Japan, near zero. Undisclosed, we won't tell you, 15%. Undecided, 19%. So this is the current look of the race when you account for every decision of the delegate. So here, nobody is crossing 50%. But remind you, these guys have a place to go. Some of them will go to these candidates. We don't know how much will go to all of them yet. So when that happens, some people will move up than where they are. And then the undecided, when they split, wherever they go, the elections goes there. 19%. Now, the reason why we're saying Bawumia is much closer is that he needs only 7% after the 19%.
Mussa, you recall that ahead of the 2024 elections,
yes,
when you talk about undisclosed and undecided, you were able to give us an idea.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. We have to find a way of going through their heads.
Yeah.
And then you can figure out what's going to happen. Now, if you look at somebody who says, I'm undecided, and he's saying that, oh, it's good to give somebody a second chance, watch out for that kind of delegate.
He's undecided.
Undecided.
Yet he said we should give another person another chance.
Exactly. So what we do is that we ask these questions much earlier than who would you vote for, so that he doesn't get a chance to change his vote after. So he's told you his mind, what he's thinking. So if he says he's undecided, you can figure it out. Now, break down the results by region. Who is leading where? In Ahafo, Bawumia leads 49%. In Ashanti, he leads 34%, Ken 13%. In Bono, Bawumia 51%, Ken 13%. In Bono East, Bawumia 60, Ken 18. In Central, it's a square, 33 for Bawumia, 32 for Kennedy.
But that's Ken's
region, yes.
Home region.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Eastern region, look, Bawumia 44, Ken 10, Brian 10. So trouble there for Ken in Eastern region. Yeah. In the Greater Accra region, 35 for Bawumia, 19 for Ken, 4 for Brian. In Northeast, 81 for Bawumia. In Northern region, 61 for Bawumia. In Otik, 61 for Bawumia, 16 for Ken. In Savannah, 33 for Bawumia, 13 for Ken. In Upper East, 72 for Bawumia, 16 for Ken. In Upper West, 55 for Bawumia, 28 for Ken. In Volta region, 35 for Bawumia, 44 for Ken. And in the Western region, 34 for Bawumia and 10 for Ken. Western North, 56 for Bawumia and 18 for Ken. If you compare these results to what they were telling us in terms of do you think somebody should be given a second chance, the results of the regional numbers are almost the same. Because in the voter region, they said no, Ken is winning there.
Yeah.
In Central region, it was closer. Ken is matching almost head to head there. So that data reflects what they were doing here. Now, we use what we call committed voters, people who mention people's name.
Yes.
I am voting for this guy. This excludes those who are undecided and those who say they won't disclose. On that basis, Bawumia goes to 63%.
Okay. Ken
29%, Brian 7%, 1% would go to Educhum, and near 0% for Kobna Ejapon. This is not what the results will be.
Yeah.
This is when you exclude those who mention names. This is how those who mention names look like. But we must figure out, in terms of our model projections, where those undisclosed will go and where would those undecided will go. The regional numbers almost reflect the same thing. Nothing changes much. Kennedy still wins the voter region. Central is very close. Now, if you look at the differences, in October, DMB was 44, now 43, declined 1%. Kennedy was 19%, 18%, down 1%. Brian Champon, 5%, still 5. He remains stable. Educhum, 1%, now 0, down 1%. Ejapon, 1, now 0. You can see that the movement from Bawumia, Kennedy, and the rest has gone to pile onto undecided.
Yeah.
See, what should happen is that when somebody loses ground, that number should come to you.
Yeah.
But it's not going to
anybody.
Anybody. And they are moving to undecided. And that is what makes this race very tricky. Now, runoff scenario. Runoff, who would you vote for? Bawumia 45, not just 2 points ahead of from the previous number. Ken now 19 from 18. Undisclosed 15 has not changed. 21% for undecided. So it's gone up in terms of the runoff. Now, if you do regional analysis,
it's almost similar.
The same,
yeah.
Almost the same. And then if you do on the basis of committed, 68, 32. We're not saying this will be the outcome of the election. It's pure mathematics that we are showing a number in a different way. Now, if you look at it, this is where you see the difference, the impact of Kennedy declining in the approval rating. Bawumia was 46%. It goes to 45, down 1% in the runoff. Kennedy was 23%. He goes to 19%, down 4%. The effect, you see, in the runoff, you have Brian people behaving differently, Edichum people behaving differently, and Japan people behaving differently. So if you're not seeing favorably among them, the decline will begin to show in the runoff. They will break off or break away, not in your direction, but in someone else's direction. That's what we've seen here. Here you can see that those who are undecided gone up by 5%. So they have moved from Bawumia 1%, Ken 4%, and they've gone to undecided. Now, let's look at this. For those who are voting for Brian in the runoff, where will they go? The poll shows that almost half of them will go to, not half, about 26% will go to Kennedy. 27% will go to Bawumia. 35% undisclosed. 12% undecided. For those who are voting for Kennedy, in the runoff, he loses 3% of his own people to Bawumia. In the runoff. 2 go to undisclosed. And in the case of Educhum, 22% of his people will go to Kennedy, but 28% will go to Bawumia. 44% not disclosing. 6% undecided. When it comes to DMB, look, only 1% of people switch runoff to Ken. But Ken lost what? 3. So Bawumia has +2 advantage for cross. And then he gets 98%. Ken gets 95%. So Bawumia has a loyal base. They are more loyal than what we see in the case of Kennedy Japan. Something he needs to work on seriously. And those who are voting for Kennedy Japan, look, 22 go to Kennedy, but 33 go to Bawumia. So Bawumia is getting more. And for Ken to do well, he must be getting more of the other candidates' vote when it comes to Kera. We're not seeing that. And that's a problem that he has to address. Now, when you look at this race in the context of the last election, this speaks volume. In the case of DMB, he has lost 4% of his original base to Brian Achampong. He has lost 6% to Kennedy, 1% to Dr. Educhum, but he retains 71% of his core support last time. 15% are undecided, 4% are not disclosing. When you come to Kennedy Japan, he has lost 5% of his base last year or last election to Brian Achampong. He has lost 1% to Educhum and lost 11% to Bawumia. So altogether, about 17% of his base has gone to his opponents. Whereas for Bawumia, he has only lost 11% to his opponents. So Bawumia has plus advantage of about 5 or 6% cross-carpeting. That's why he's still leading. Now, if you look at those who did not vote in the last election, they didn't vote. 5% of them said they vote for Brian Achampong. 20% Ken. 1% Educhum. But 34% going for Bawumia. So he still dominates that. So overall, the numbers are down for everybody. But it seems to be a lot more down for Kennedy than it is for Bawumia. These are the changes between the defection rate. Now, regional blocks. We look at the Akan regions. In the Akan regions, currently, Bawumia 43, Ken 22, 6 Brian, 2 Educhum, 2% Kennedy Japan, and 12% not disclosing, and 13% undecided. I'm going to just focus on this. In the swing regions, very close, somehow, 39% for Bawumia, 15% for Ken, 4% for Brian, 1% Educhum, and 1% for Japan, and 21% not disclosing, 20% undecided. When we come to the northern region, Bawumia 56. Now he goes what? 62.
A jump.
Up 6%. And Kennedy 15, now 13, 2 down. Achampong 2%. So Bawumia has gained in the November round of polls. When it comes to OT, Bawumia goes up 2%, but Kennedy goes up 20%.
Okay.
That's why he was winning in voter registration.
Mussa, we need to go. I have two questions.
Yes.
Number one, how do you respond to people who say that this election, the number is expanded? We are doing close to 400,000 delegates. And now you do a sample of just 3,500. I'm sure this question has come to you a number of times. How do you respond to people who say that this may not be a true reflection? Because a 400,000 delegate system, and you're just doing 3,500. Second question, is this likely to change? So let's say 31st January, from the trend that you are seeing.
Okay. We have seen the last question first. Consistently, the gap between Bawumia and Kennedy has hovered around 20-25%. That's the gap.
Okay.
Constantly on likely for this model. Until that number drops quite significantly, it will be difficult to see a big shift in the numbers, just from that aspect. So for Ken to drag this race, really, Bawumia should not be around 43%. It should be maybe mid-35.
Okay.
Mid-35. That is the only way that you can see a plausible runoff scenario in this race. And NPP delegates are quite stable. In terms of the number, you're not seeing big movement. 1% there. And those changes don't dramatically alter the course of a race.
Okay.
In terms of the
size.
The size. Look, I've always used soup as an example. When you are cooking a pot of soup, you bring the ingredients step by step. Get the onion, get this, get that, get that. It's all a way of getting the soup right. Once you have followed the ingredient process right, and the soup is ready, you want to taste the soup. Sammy, you can either fetch the whole bowl and drink the bowl to test whether the soup is right, or you take a small spoon, right, and taste the soup.
The soup, which one? Is it in Katinkwai or Abenkwai?
You see, you can fetch the whole bowl to taste the soup. It will taste the same taste as when you use a small spoon to fetch. Okay. It is not about the size of the spoon or it is the process you go through. Okay. And the sampling, the methodology, the randomness is what guarantees what you see using the small teaspoon is what reflects in the
Mr. We run out of time. I'm sure we will bring you back so we can talk about the soup, which one? I like light soup, so maybe we'll talk about light soup. Mussa Dankwa, my name is Samuel Yafe, and it's Fred Jaban. I brought you another exciting edition of The Situation that came to you live from our studio here in Accra. So we'll come your way again. May the good Lord be with us all.